Northern Ireland's business secretary is concerned about the impact of the UK's new Electronic Travel Authorization, or ETA, on local tourism. Business Secretary Conor Murphy expressed strong concerns that ETA poses a threat to Northern Ireland's tourism industry. He said, "The introduction of new travel restrictions for overseas visitors will result in this part of the island of Ireland being removed from the itineraries of many tour operators and independent travelers." That's what Murphy said, at least in a press release. Reflecting on the success of Northern Ireland's tourism, he stressed the importance of seamless travel between all islands and the Republic of Ireland. Murphy promised to discuss the issue with the Home Office to find a solution that protects their tourism industry. Tourism is an important industry in Northern Ireland, supporting around 71,000 jobs in the region. Murphy said Northern Ireland's tourism industry continues to experience significant growth at the moment. From 1998 to 2019, the number of foreign visitors staying overnight in the region quadrupled, after the Good Friday Agreement, by the way. In 2023, the country's tourism revenues have recently recovered from the impact of the coronavirus pandemic on tourism and travel, at least. And tourism revenue in Northern Ireland is back to 2019 levels, but visitor numbers still have some catching up to do. The business secretary said the ETA would impact tourism in Northern Ireland, with more than 70% of foreign visitors arriving via Dublin. And this equates to an estimated 277,000 day trips per year by international tourists crossing the open land border from Ireland to Northern Ireland. Causeway Coast and Glasborough Council shared these fears in its tourism sector growth strategy submitted to the Department for Business. A Belfast Live report, the Council said the ETA system would represent a major obstacle to the growth of Northern Ireland's tourism. They said, "We believe that the ETA requirements for visitors crossing from the Republic of Ireland could lead to a decline in international visitors to Northern Ireland." That was a council statement. Traveling by air to Northern Ireland is difficult due to limited competition in the market. For this reason, individual and group visitor flows to Northern Ireland are heavily dependent on gateways in Dublin. And the council said this is unsustainable and needs to be addressed as a high priority. The ETA is part of a wider initiative to improve security at the UK border and make travel easier for low-risk visitors. Under the new digital authorization system, all non-visa travelers must apply for and obtain a valid ETA before entering the UK. This also applies to all foreign tourists visiting the Republic of Ireland and crossing the border into Northern Ireland, even if it's just for a day trip. Irish citizens and legal residents of Ireland are exempt from presenting an ETA due to the Common Travel Area, or CTA, agreement. Under the CTA agreement, citizens of the United Kingdom, the Republic of Ireland, Guernsey, Jersey, and the Isle of Man can travel freely within the CTA areas. It is, although not the first time that an official or group has raised concerns that ETA would have a negative impact on tourism in Northern Ireland. In January 2024, Northern Ireland's Department of Economic Affairs, Ian Snowdon, warned of the real risk ETA poses to tourism. He said the separate ETA requirement and fee for Northern Ireland could deter tourists from including the country in their itinerary when visiting Ireland. Another concern for the travel industry and professionals is tourists unknowingly entering the UK without an ETA. The land border between the Republic and Northern Ireland is open, and if they do so, they are breaking immigration laws. However, due to the CTA agreement, there are no immigration checks at the border. In 2023, the British government has repeatedly rejected calls to exempt tourists visiting Northern Ireland via the Republic from the requirement to issue an ETA. Such an exemption would undermine their efforts to strengthen security at the UK border and keep people safe, is what the Home Office said. The ETA allows authorities to pre-screen travellers and prevent those who may pose a security risk from entering the UK. Nevertheless, the Home Office is committed to working with stakeholders to ensure effective communication of ETA requirements. Raising awareness of the new electronic border system can reduce its impacts as a barrier to cross-border tourism in Ireland, as they say. The UK Parliament's Justice and Home Affairs Committee is currently considering this new electronic border management system. It includes the UK ETA, the EU's future entry-exit system EES, and the European Travel Information and Authorization System that's coming, that's ETIAS. And another thing is that Mark Carney, the former governor of the Bank of England, months ago drew already parallels between the economic turmoil of Brexit and Argentina's historic crises. Despite the polemics, an analysis shows that Brexit has undermined Britain's international reputation and trust in the government. Mark Carney was critical of Britain's Brexit policy during a meeting of centre-left leaders in Montreal at that time, and according to The Telegraph, he compared the impact of Brexit to Argentina's economic problems. This country has been struggling with economic crises since its independence in 1816 and has again recently had to contend with high inflation rates and political instability. Douglas McWilliams of the Center for Economics and Business Research called Carney's comments extraordinary. And The Telegraph stressed that despite Carney's polemical comparison, there is actually a truth in it that Britain's opposition leader is trying to exploit. The Brexit decision and its consequences have severely affected the country's international reputation and the trust in the Conservative government, as we all know. And Liz Truss, once Prime Minister of Great Britain, continues to try to highlight the positive side of Brexit. However, her critics, including The Telegraph, see her approach as lacking a sense of reality. Truss' previous economic policy decisions have already had a major negative impact on the country, and her current defense of Brexit is seen as, let's put it with, unconvincing. A Bloomberg survey of nearly 230 global investors found that 2/3 of respondents believe a Labour government would be beneficial for British stocks and the pound, according to The Telegraph. Many investors see Brexit as an economic misstep by Great Britain. The consequences of Brexit continue to impact trade, inflation and the pound, which has a significant impact on the economy. The fact that the UK has seen low economic growth after 4 years since Brexit is leading to further debate about the effectiveness of Brexit. And according to The Telegraph, even passionate supporters of Brexit must acknowledge that this step has so far not had the desired effect. And finally, The Telegraph reported that Sir Keir Starmer, the opposition leader and Labour Party member, wants to exploit the current situation to make political capital, although he has not yet presented a clear alternative. However, investors seem to believe that Starmer doesn't necessarily need a clear answer to be successful. But that we will see in the run of this year. And if you want to know more, the next video is right here in the end screen. I'll see you there. I'll be back.